A 10-year-old has been charged with the murder and a deadly shooting of a 7-month-old.
Tonight we have new developments in the shooting that left a baby in North St. Louis dead. Hours ago, prosecutors charged a 10-year-old who they say pulled the trigger with murder. Police say a 19-year-old is also facing gun charges. The announcements came hours after police identified the 7-month-old baby. 5 on your side's Reagan DeTrolio tells us outraged community advocates hope their calls for change don't fall on deaf ears.
This is a very sad and unfortunate incident. This is a 7-month-old baby that just never got to even begin to live life.
7-month-old girl Kiyomi Parker died after being shot at a home here on North Broadway Friday afternoon around 4 p.m. 2 people, a 10-year-old boy and a 19-year-old man, were taken into custody.
This is 2 lives that will be, change forever.
Precious Jones' son died from gun violence a few years back. Now she's fighting to save others from the same fate.
These types of incidents can be prevented.
There's free gun locks provided at every St. Louis public library, including this one in the Baden neighborhood, just a couple blocks off from where shots were fired.
The library is not the first place you would think of to get a gun lock, but they are available for free if you need them.
Librarian Amy Brown tells me gun locks are now more accessible than ever.
Just walk up to any circulation desk and ask for a gun lock.
But there's other ways to get a gun lock too.
You can go to any Phillips 66 Crown Market and ask for a gun lock.
St. Louis Metropolitan Police told 5 on your side the 19-year-old is facing criminal gun charges. What happened leading up to the shooting is still being determined.
We are still... Is gun violence that bad to where, at least maybe that's a normal thing, that where you can get a gun lock at all these different places, the library. But is gun violence that bad to where we have to be providing this stuff for people? Why? I mean, first of all, why did the 10-year-old have a gun in the first place? Was he playing with it? Was he intentionally trying to harm someone? Was he just looking at it and it went off? Those are a lot of factors that we have to think about. But if they're charging him with murder, it's most likely he was either playing with it, pulling the trigger, which says a lot about who was actually watching the 10-year-old in the first place. But at 10 years old, we gotta say how it is. You know better to what you need to touch and where you don't. At least your parents should have told you or instilled the right rules into you to where you don't pick up a gun or play with a gun in the first place. But let's keep going into this.
Very early in this, that the scene of this shooting is contained to inside the home.
No one should be able to purchase a firearm without, purchasing the safety equipment that comes with it. That should just be a mandatory law.
Reporting in the Baden neighborhood, I'm Reagan DeTrolio, 5 on your...
Now let's get over into more details about this case. Let's get over into the video.
There are certain types of calls that no officer ever wants to get. And the District 6 officers got that call tonight.
A young life becomes another statistic tonight to gun violence. We sent the alert to you a few minutes ago. The baby shot in a St. Louis home has now died, and the investigation deepens. Just before 4:30 this afternoon, First Alert 4 learned of the infant being shot at a home on North Broadway near Halls Ferry Road in North City. That's close to Calvary Cemetery, and it's where we find our Casey Zanowick, who's live for us tonight. Casey, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Morgan, it's truly a heartbreaking scene here tonight. We're standing on North Broadway here in the Baden neighborhood, where we just learned a couple hours ago an infant was shot, and we just learned that it was a 7-month-old girl who has now died in the hospital. Now, the scene is still very active right now. Officers are still here trying to determine what exactly happened, but what we do know is that officers were called here around 4 o'clock after receiving reports of a shooting. When they arrived, they say they found a 7-month-old baby girl with a gunshot wound in that home. Officers then quickly did what they call a scoop and go and placed that baby in the back of an SUV to get her to the hospital. And with the help of other District 6 officers, they closed numerous roads roads to get that infant there as fast as possible. But sadly, we have just learned that she has died in the hospital. Now, police say homicide and child abuse detectives are now on scene. They have contained the scene of the shooting to inside the home and are not currently searching for a suspect. Police say they also have no reason to believe the child accidentally shot herself, but police told us they are currently conducting interviews with family members who were in the home when this incident occurred and trying to determine how exactly this unfolded. Now, this is the 26th juvenile shot in the city this year, and it comes just a few days after a 15-year-old was shot and killed near Forest Park. Now, as you can see, this is still a very active and early investigation, and police are still trying to determine what exactly happened and how that infant died. But we'll keep you updated as soon as we learn more on air and online.
Now, they are charging both of these. They are charging the 10-year-old with murder. They are charging with the 19-year-old with murder. The 19-year-old was the father of the 7-month-old. But in honest, when are we going to do better as parents? Because obviously someone let that child, that 10-year-old, get a gun in his hand. Someone wasn't watching the child close enough. And then someone left this. It's a tragic scene, y'all. Let's get over into this AI breakdown just to find out more information about this whole case. Absolutely tragic. Makes you lose words. So as we know, y'all, we got a 19-year-old father, and then we got a 10-year-old boy have both been charged with the tragic shooting death of a 7-month-old. So the shooting took place in North St. Louis. Responding St. Louis officers performed a scoop and go, rushing the infant to the hospital. The 7-month-old baby girl was pronounced dead at the hospital. A 7-year-old child was also present in the home during the shooting but was uninjured. Court documents show that the father kept a loaded firearm underneath a mattress in a bedroom. The 10-year-old boy told investigators that he knew where the gun was hidden and that it had been accessible to him for a long time and that he had handled it previously. So the 10-year-old boy has been charged with first-degree murder in juvenile court. Local research indicates that he may be the youngest person in Missouri's history to face a murder charge. Due to the state laws regarding minors, he cannot be tried as an adult. So the father charged with second-degree felony murder, first-degree endangerment and welfare of a child, and 2 counts of first-degree endangerment and welfare of a child for exposing the other 2 children to a substantial risk. He is currently being held without bond. So I did want to figure out any more details we have about it. So the court documents revealed that the 10-year-old boy shot the 7-month-old infant once in the head. Reports indicate that the 19-year-old father is the uncle of the 10-year-old boy who pulled the trigger. While the shooting occurred at the home, court records indicate that his primary residence is in East Street, Louisiana. The baby's mother has been identified as Jalen Parker, who has since organized a fundraiser to help cover the child's funeral costs. So Missouri updated its law regarding juvenile prosecution. While the state previously had no minimum age to charge a child with a serious felony, a law passed set the minimum age for a minor to be certified and tried as an adult at 12 years old. Because the suspect is 10, he will have to remain in the juvenile system. So as we know, there's a spike in juvenile gun violence. Police spokesman highlighted that this marks the 4th juvenile shooting victim and the 2nd fatal juvenile homicide by gunfire within a single week alone. At the time of the incident, St. Louis had already recorded 24 juvenile shootings, perfectly matching the city's gun violence tracking data from the exact same period in the previous year. So it has not changed. That's the biggest information right there. The gun violence has not dropped any from the last year. So court timeline, he is having his upcoming hearing and the statements of the community rallies organized by the St. Louis gun violence advocates. Absolutely wild. So we let's look at this again. So the 10-year-old said that, where is it? So the 10-year-old, he told investigators that he knew where the gun was hidden and that it has been accessible to him for a long time and that he's handled it previously. So, I mean, it seems pretty obvious what happened. It seems like for some reason he let the child, or the child found out, the 10-year-old found out where the gun was. I don't know if the father or his uncle showed him where it was or if he just seen him putting it up, but he obviously didn't have any kind of safety on the gun. But the child ended up getting it like he has before, playing with it. And the most tragic thing happened is to where he ended up shooting his 7-month-old cousin in the head. Now, here's a question. Do you think the child should be charged with murder? I don't know if murder is the right thing. It doesn't, because murder, when I think of murder, I think of intentional. Or you can do sudden passion murder, but I think that an intentional thing, you intentionally tried to do something and it led to murder. I don't know if the 10-year-old intentionally tried to kill or shoot the gun, but he obviously handled the gun, pulled the trigger, maybe by accident. This is just me maybe giving him the benefit of the doubt. And the child was shot in the head. Now, shot in the head is crazy, but do you think murder is the right charge for this 10-year-old child? Do you think that he's not going to be in jail because he has to be charged as a juvenile, so he's going to be out by 21, 19 or 21, one of those ages. But do you think murder is the appropriate charge? Should it be like manslaughter? Of course, the father needs to be charged with murder. We don't even have to talk about that. But should the 10-year-old be charged with murder? He definitely needs to be charged because you do the crime, you need to do some kind of time. But is murder the appropriate charge? Let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's an absolutely crazy case, but we will keep up with it to see exactly what goes through.